The year is 2025. A crisis grips America. It's not a war, not a natural disaster, it's a logistical nightmare. Our ports, the arteries of global trade, are clogged. Cargo ships stack up on the horizon, waiting for their turn to unload. Inside the ports, it's organized chaos. Containers pile up, dwarfing the workers scrambling below. The American economy, once a well-oiled machine, sputters and strains. The supply chain, that intricate web connecting producers and consumers, is stretched to its breaking point. This is the story of how a perfect storm of tariffs, logistical failures, and unforeseen consequences brought the U.S. economy to its knees. It's a tale of hubris, of political maneuvering gone wrong, and the very real consequences for businesses and consumers struggling to stay afloat in a sea of uncertainty. The seeds of this crisis were sown with the stroke of a pen. In a bid to protect domestic industries, hefty tariffs were slapped on goods imported from China. The impact was immediate and devastating. Businesses, caught off guard, slammed the brakes on imports. Why pay exorbitant tariffs when the future was so uncertain? A chilling silence descended upon America's ports. The once familiar hum of activity was replaced by an eerie stillness. Cranes stood idle, their long arms reaching out like silent sentinels over deserted docks. Ships, once welcomed with bustling efficiency, were left to bob on the water, their holds full of unwanted goods. This was the unintended consequence of a policy designed to protect. Instead, it paralyzed. The silence was deafening. It echoed through the empty terminals, through the deserted warehouses, and into the hearts of American businesses. Retailers watched in horror as their shelves emptied. Manufacturers, starved of crucial components, idled their production lines. The lifeblood of American commerce, the steady flow of goods, had slowed to a trickle. The economic pain was felt far and wide. Shipping companies, faced with mounting losses, were forced to lay off workers. Truck drivers, their rigs parked in silence, joined the ranks of the unemployed. The ripple effect spread outwards, touching every corner of the American economy. The ports, once symbols of American economic might, now stood as monuments to a system in distress. Then, as quickly as it began, the tariff storm subsided. A 90-day reprieve was announced, slashing tariffs to a more manageable 30%. Relief, however, quickly gave way to panic. Businesses, desperate to replenish depleted inventories, rushed to place orders. A tsunami of cargo pent up for months was unleashed upon America's unprepared ports. What followed was a logistical nightmare of epic proportions. Ships, once stranded at sea, converged on U.S. ports, creating massive bottlenecks. Containers, arriving faster than they could be unloaded, piled up on docks, turning once organized terminals into chaotic labyrinths of steel. The system, already weakened by months of inactivity, was overwhelmed. The ports were simply not equipped to handle this sudden influx of cargo. Years of underinvestment had taken their toll. Cranes, some dating back to the 1980s, struggled to keep up with the demand. Warehouses, already at capacity, overflowed with goods. The workforce, decimated by layoffs during the freeze, was caught off guard. There weren't enough dock workers to unload the ships, not enough truck drivers to transport the containers, not enough warehouse workers to process the influx of goods. The entire system was gridlocked, a victim of its own fragility and the unpredictable whims of global trade.